What is up, SVSers? Got Larry here coming to you live from Colorado Springs, and also joining me tonight and is about to step off a curb, which would be our greatest blooper ever. We've got Mr. Nick Brown handling the camera duties.
Hey, welcome to sunny Colorado Springs, and it is an absolutely beautiful night here, and we are at one of the premier AV stores in the country.
We are at ListenUp, which has 3 retail locations here in Colorado. They're in Boulder, their mothership in Denver, and then their larger store here in Colorado Springs, where we're going to be hanging out tonight, doing a big event like you guys have seen us do in the past. But this is a very special retailer. They've been around longer than I've been alive, which is really cool to say. And they've been an institution here in the Denver market. The Colorado Springs market is fairly new for them, but they're also massive online. So you've probably seen them online. They do amazing resources. They're a great place to go in and shop for everything you need for your home theater, custom install, wiring. The install teams are amazing, and the custom jobs they do. They've got a JBL synthesis theater in here, which is pretty primo. And
almost
really
as good
awesome
as the system that we've set up today.
Yes,
almost. But I do have to say, thank you to everyone who's been in the comments here waiting. I know you guys have been very patient, and we appreciate that. And we love all the build up to the actual live stream here, because I know, these things, they don't always come up. And this is, it's going to be a little bit more intimate, I would say, than what we did last night.
Yeah, we're in a little bit smaller market than we're typically accustomed to, but I think you're going to see the crowd's going to start growing. Part of the reason we're starting our broadcast late tonight is traffic here is little difficult, to say the least, to get to this market. And you can't see it, but directly behind the store is the Rocky Mountains. And it's you're going to have to go like way out there.
I don't want to lose my Wi-Fi.
You might be blinded by the sun.
Let me give you just a beautiful view here.
It's really picturesque here.
There you go.
You're going to have to go like way out there.
Well, you can kind of get it way off there in the distance. You can see some of those mountains.
Storms rolling in, and the waitress at the restaurant we had lunch at earlier said there might be a dusting of snow tonight, and that's not cool, because we got to drive back to Denver in the morning for our flight. And I'm from Texas, and I don't know how to drive it.
But this is one of the most beautifully appointed stores that we've ever been in. You can just tell that it's like a mecca for audio. They truly have done so much to make it just a perfect experience.
Nice.
And so here's the, I should go through our normal spiel. You folks who are tuning in live are eligible for giveaways as well. Leave a comment, you're eligible. You don't need to leave a million comments. One makes you eligible. I will read the names out live on the air. We'll get your contact information and get those shipped out. And now there are people here who have the eligibility of winning some of these grand prizes.
So we've got some great prizes for you all tonight. And what we're going to do is a quick tour of the store.
Let's get some props.
I would like to introduce you all to Dustin. And he has been, for us, kind of a life-saving piece for this event. We don't ever do events 2 nights back-to-back. And his team here in the store set up pretty much everything for us. We just had to come in and do some tweaks and adjustments, and that was it. So thank you so much. And, say hi to everybody out there in the world. So he's going to do some speaking tonight, introduce everybody to the store in a little bit. But we really got to thank you for welcoming us. It was kind of a last-minute change to move here to this location, too. So we're excited to be out here and hang out with your team.
And if you come down to here to Colorado Springs, Dustin will be here to take care of you. And you know what? They've got some killer demos to share. So.
Yeah, they have a great store. We're going to do a quick tour for you all to experience this. These got some really cool vignettes. If you're familiar with the brand Bang & Olufsen, they make some super cool, sexy-looking stuff. And this is one of the experiences where you can come in. You can see the 77-inch OLED pop out of that base. And, thank you. Oh, you're heading out? So that's Mike. Everybody say hi.
See you, Mike.
So say hi to our Facebook family. So you can experience that, speakers, audio, all that. And then over here, the full powered solution from the multi-room brand Sonos and everything that they do. The Samsung Frame TV. So, and then, there's our banner for the night. And we're going to start to kind of corral everybody here. But you can come in here and listen to headphones, speakers, get an amazing 2-channel kind of intimate experience. That sounds weird, but I think you guys know what I mean. Where you can really just sit down, listen to what you want, bring in your own content, and they'll play it for you on a turntable or streaming, or if you own CDs, any of that. And they've got old legacy equipment, new stuff, the kind of new, I guess the new old is what you call what some of these brands are doing with their legacy products. Tube amps, all the biggest brands that you're familiar with are available here. So,
trying to show a little everything there, Larry. Get the Mac headphone amp here.
Yeah.
Killer system here if you want to check out some premium headphones.
And we'll revisit this here in a little bit.
Yeah, once we fire up
their history.
Once we fire up the Greatest Showman, that's usually my detour to leave the demo area. So we're going to walk you through this history while the Greatest Showman is serenading you. But it'll
It's
give you
1972. Man.
It'll give you an idea of how iconic they are, and you'll be able to see Steve Weiner, who's the founder of the store, is here tonight. You get to see him dressed up like a.
I think that's
70s.
the warning for people that we're going to be starting soon. So as you make your way around, I don't know if we're going to be able to see, so maybe I'll just put on my flashlight. Yeah, we're going to start collecting everybody over there in the middle of the store.
Oh, there we go.
So over
Somebody
here in
might
this
have bumped a
space,
light.
there we go. So this is essentially their 2-channel dedicated space over here. So they've got a setup with power amps and Sonus Faber speakers and some really cool amps. So you can come and sit down and get that. In here, this is their premium speaker switching room with brands like Bowers, Focal, Sonus Faber, all meticulously treated.
Yeah, that's one thing you'll
Taken
notice. If
care
you go into any of these listening rooms, they take real pride in making sure these rooms are absolutely sonically perfect in terms of what you can do to get the best performance possible out of the gear. Because as we all know, the room is one of the most important aspects of performance. So
this entire store is that way. It's kind of wild. If Nick pans when we get outside, you'll see they've treated the ceilings and everything in here too. So the entire store has really been thought out for the best possible audio experience. This is an audiophile store in every sense of the word, because you can get everything from kind of a starter system to a premium. The Bowers Diamond 803 series in here with a great Mac stack, with the cool turntable. This always kind of reminds me of Inception when I see this wall texturing. Yeah.
Everyone loves a good Mac rack.
Yeah.
Drool worthy.
I'll pull that down since we're about to get started.
Bass traps over here.
And then if we make our way around over here, you can see more of their kind of tabletop solutions they have. They have the SVS Prime Wireless here too, which we've got set up over here. Hey, Ken, say hi.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
We made it from Omaha.
Yeah, baby. So this will be our dedicated 2-channel area where we have our Ultra Bookshelf speakers connected to our Prime Wireless Pro sound base, 300-watt streaming integrated amplifier, and then we have our powered bookshelf speakers, Prime Wireless Pro, which will be our first giveaway of the evening, which we're going to get to in not too long.
Yeah. Then you can see they've got a lot of TVs and stuff to choose from as well. So how's it going, guys? So, this is Gary and Steve.
There's Steve Weiner. We're going to see him on a poster there. We don't know these guys.
So say hi to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to SVS community.
Two icons. Icons of the industry there.
You guys got to
getting lots of props.
We've been going a long time.
Getting lots of love.
So, and then in here, they've got all the different TVs that they offer. So you can see various brands, all the biggest brands, different sizes. Once again, all the custom that they can do too.
It's about 270 degrees of TVs here. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy.
And they've all been switched to the best viewing angle too, which is pretty cool. And then if we make our way back here, this is where they do all their custom stuff. So they've got meeting spaces for customers to plan out their room, do design, walk through lighting, blinds, whatever they're gonna do for audio, accessories, cables, and all that stuff too. The audio systems themselves, video, and you can get everything here. And in this space, this is what they call their theater switching room. And in here, you've got a bunch of different speakers and subwoofers you can listen to, and our products are featured in here. They have Pinnacle in here, Ultra Bookshelf, Prime Bookshelf, satellites, elevation, and this is where we're going to do our smaller system tonight, just the Prime 5.1 experience with Prime Bookshelves, Prime Center, Prime Satellites, and SB 1000 Pro.
More gratuitous rack shots.
Yeah, the gear in here is so much fun to play with. And so we're going to be taking over this room in just a little while as well, and let everybody here experience our 5.1.
See, they have the 2-channel switching for all the different bookshelf models as well as the tower models. Great place to kind of A/B test and just get a sense for what your ears really are fond of.
Yeah.
Centers.
And I get to that point where I'm like, I need to turn that TV on. I don't know where the on buttons are anymore on these fancy TVs. So.
We got our Ultra and our Prime set up here.
And then we'll take you out here in a moment and let you see the last bits of the store, and then we'll get the event kicked off. So we'll go back through the TV section. Go around over here to the right. They've got food and drink set up for everybody. more of their custom design space. You can see what they can do in multiple rooms. They're kind of showing off some of the lighting and things they can do in the kitchen, the custom controlled home via Control4 and other control systems that they offer here in the store. Once again, really big on custom install, integration, and just making your life simple through a little bit of everything. And then we'll go into the last room, and then we'll kick off. So this is their JBL Synthesis Theater. So you walk in here, and you can hear it's just quiet.
Yeah.
So this is a
Sound
full
is deadness.
Stewart film screen, really high-end projector, hiding speakers and subwoofers in the wall and everything. Just a really awesome system with a full bar top, popcorn and everything in here too.
Oh, I wish that was fired up.
Yeah, we need to get that going
right now. It says home theater like some popcorn.
And then the last thing they've got back here is they're showing you what they can do with like lighting and security outside too. So they've got a full system is there, and then full outdoor speaker setup too. So I'm going to collect and wrangle everybody. Do you want this microphone?
I think I'll take the mic back there, buddy.
See you on this. All right, if everybody wants to kind of pull in right here, we're going to get this event started.
So this is our big system we have set up here, which we'll talk about. I love this backlit sort of artwork too. I think that's such a nice feature to have here to kind of show a natural element within all this AV electronics gear. We'll talk about the system we have, but we are running a 5.2.2, and something that's a little different here is the way that we have our prime elevations aligned. You can see we have one up here that's sort of firing towards the back of the room, and then we have another one here that's firing also to the back of the room. You know what, this may not be the ideal setup in terms of where we'd want to position them. Typically, we'd have them on the sidewalls, sort of firing into the listening area, but we may do, and because they're such a versatile speaker, it's going to allow us to create some element of three-dimensional sound and height effects, but with just a less optimal placement than we're used to. And so, for us, it's all about, making the best of what you have here, and we wanted to bring the height effects experience, so that's why we positioned them in the way that we did.
All right. Let me grab Dustin. So, all right, we're going to pull in right here. Feel free to get comfortable, get cozy. We've got a full surround sound system here. So one big happy family. Within the black tape and these speakers, you're in a good spot. Let me introduce you to Dustin. He's going to kick us off tonight.
Welcome. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We are extremely grateful to have our partners at SVS here tonight to have a wonderful demonstration. We're just really excited to see so many new faces as well. If you haven't been to the store, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. I just want to take a moment and introduce a man that is probably not a stranger to many of us, Gary Yakubian, President SVS. Really fantastic individual, and we're just so grateful to have you guys here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a great introduction. I want to say a couple of things though, because this is ListenUp, and you guys. I don't know how many of you are from Colorado Springs area, and maybe you take ListenUp for granted. ListenUp is a legendary, incredibly professional, amazing. In a lot of ways, I would say this is the most iconic specialty retailer / custom integrator on the planet. It's a company that I've admired, not the whole history, because you guys have been here, what is it, 51 years?
51.
Not so much Colorado Springs, 51 years.
Right.
You've only been here like what?
26, I think.
So you're kids here in Colorado. This is just an absolutely wonderful, amazing, professional retailer, and we're so thankful for the partnership. So thanks to you and your team. And I've already interacted with a bunch of you, and my feeling is what an awesome, knowledgeable. I feel like Nick, we gotta up our game, because I was already learning things just in the conversations that I was having with people prior to the event. So we're really excited to do this. This is 2 days in a row. So Nick, Larry, Ken is back there somewhere. We feel a little bit like rock stars, only none of those distractions like fans and groupies. It's a little more humble than that. We're really happy to be here. And this tonight is really about great sound, having great sound in your living space. Not about SVS in particular, but about having great sound in your living space. We're going to talk about that. To me, it's one of the most joyful things in life. And Larry doesn't like me to talk too much about it. He thinks the demo does a better job, and I have to agree with him. So Larry, why don't we kick off this conversation about great sound with a demo that illustrates that?
Can I ask them real quick, how many of you have never been to ListenUp before? Okay, awesome. So that's great. We go to a lot of stores where people are going there for the first time. So I think that's awesome to see so many of you that have actually been here before. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick things off with a demo, and the best way to describe this is if you could see what sound looked like. And you're going to hear sound coming from all around you, and we'll explain the system here in just a minute. So let me get this thing fired up, and we will get this party started.
And before he starts, come, let's pretend. Remember, you know what is over with now. I've tested all of you, and everybody's good. And let's. I want everyone to really enjoy this now. Here we go. I'm going to get out of the way.
The film we are about to see has no characters. If you spare it to your imagination.
I'm sure a couple of you have seen this demo before. So while we're firing up that first demo, we're going to do our first giveaway of the evening. And I'm going to let you all look at this popcorn machine while I do it. First giveaway is our SVS Prime Wireless Pro powered bookshelf speaker system. And the winner, let's get really quiet in here a second. Thomas Flip. Congratulations, Thomas Flip. You are the winner of the Prime Wireless Pro system. Congrats there. Now let's go check out this demo.
Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
What do we think of that? Awesome. Right? So, would you say this is a perfect room? So, yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. We had some fun setting this up. But,
Larry is a master at setting these things up. But this is what size store is this? I'm thinking it's probably in the neighborhood of 7,000 or 8,000 square feet. How big is this store?
It's 12,000.
12,000.
Stuff in the back.
So we're filling 12,000 square feet, basically a single room. It's 12,000 square feet. So if you liked that demo, you'll love it in your living room. That's the end of my pitch, I promise. But let's talk about that for a second, because I really today is a celebration of great sound. And what does that mean? Well, this is a home theater. What should a great home theater do? Larry's going to break it down in terms of the parts. I want to, and apologies to the SVS community who's watching us 2 days in a row. I'm going to try to change it up as much as possible. And this is a really knowledgeable crowd, and the SVS community is a really knowledgeable group. So,
did any of you watch us last night? Okay.
yeah, so I got to change it up. So, you guys need to feel free to interrupt the flow, ask questions, make sure we fulfill what your hopes were for this. You guys took time out of your busy day. The SVS community, there's sometimes as many as 10,000 people watching from around the world. Want to make sure that this is the best use of their time, and since they watched us last night, we want to make sure there's good value for them and all of you. So don't hesitate to ask questions and make sure we're going in the direction you want to go. But let me paint a picture spiritually of what we're talking about here. What a great home theater should do. It should be a place in your home. Maybe I was hearing some folks that were telling me they have literally a dedicated home theater room. It's not a multi-purpose room. It's just that. That's where I go. But a lot of us don't have the luxury to do that because of lifestyle considerations, other voting partners in the household, and so forth. It might be a living room. It might be a den or a family room or some other basement. But whatever it is a place where if the home theater is doing its job correctly, you can have a hard day at work or whatever you do, and you can go there. What? I'm sorry.
I was hearing our Facebook broadcast from this pocket.
Double dipping.
Sir, please
Can't
turn
hit
off
on
your phone.
You can go to that place. You can turn on that system, and hopefully, I don't agree with this. Nobody can touch it but me in the household. Like everyone in the household should be able to come there, in my opinion, and enjoy that system. And when they turn it on and they create whatever the content is that you love, Nick's going to talk about that. Like we're not restrictive about how we view content. It's whatever you love. Just talking to someone who, I think I should be able to find him because he's about 8 feet tall. There he is. Who loves the home theater for gaming and was evaluating our speakers and subwoofers for gaming. And I was like, because we've had this debate about what is that really about. He was saying he got our smaller subwoofer and upgraded because some scene in an elevator was more than the subwoofers could handle, and now he has a pair of our subwoofers that's totally doing it. Point being, there's a place in your house where you can have that experience of the content you love, and you can voluntarily surrender your disbelief and let yourself believe that what's going on, what you're experiencing is really happening. And in order for it to do that, and that's a joyful thing when it does it correctly. In order for it to do that, there are some component parts, and it's not hard to get there. Larry's going to break it down for you.
Yeah, so what you listened to was what we call man, you're a tall group.
Are they tall or?
Well, yeah, I'm average height, so, looking at this, what you have in this system is what we call a 5.2.2 Dolby Atmos home theater. And I know those numbers can be confusing for people, so we'll kind of break it down in just an easy sense. How many of you have theater in your home? So everybody's familiar with what was called 5.1. It's been around forever. What that is five. The first number is how many speakers are on what's considered the bed level or down around ear level. And so in this case, we have 5 speakers down low. We have the 2 towers that are on either side of us here. They're called the prime pinnacle. They're right in the middle of our lineup. Those are creating the left and right sound stage, which is really everything that's happening kind of at the front of whatever you're watching or listening to, whether it's music in a stereo sense or watching a movie or the news. Most of that's happening from your front stage. And then directly behind me, we have our ultra center. And this is the most important speaker in the system. And talking with you earlier, it changed your entire system. I've got a gentleman that was just bragging about how much he loved the ultra center. Now, this is where all the dialogue and things that are happening on screen tend to come from. So you're watching the news or you're watching a movie, or what we're going to play in a minute is a musical piece that's really all about the center channel. And how many of you have been at home, whether you're watching TV or maybe on a soundbar or something, or another home theater, having to constantly turn it up and turn it down because of the way the audio is set up? And normally it's because you can't understand. You're like, what would they just say? And so you have to rewind and play that again. A lot of that can be from having something up front that can be more intelligible and offer that. So this is what we call a 3-way center channel, which offers lows, mids, and highs. So you have a wider range and also a much wider sound stage, because not everybody sits directly in the front when you have a movie theater. You've got your family spread around. So that's your front stage. Then behind you in the very back, if you follow the black tape on the floor, you'll find our prime towers, which we are using for the surround speakers for left and right. And typically what comes from a surround system in the back is all the effects and music, things flying from the back to the front, bullets, explosions, cars, King Kong, whatever. And that's what kind of fills in the information, so it feels like you're more immersed in the experience.
So from a 30,000 foot, I'll bring it back to 30,000 foot level. The 3 front speakers are creating they're telling a specific story. If you're watching something on screen, you're seeing things move around and things happening. And that's being reinforced orally by things that are happening at specific points in space, between the speakers, outside of the speakers, behind the speakers, in front of the speakers, but it's a specific thing. And it corresponds to the action that you're seeing on the screen. That is telling a story and helping you to believe what's happening is really happening. And now Larry's going to take you to the
So we've done the 5.
right.
Now we're going to go, how many of you felt that bass? Okay, so what you were experiencing was the 0.2. And in this case, we have an SB16 Ultra sitting right here, and an SB16 Ultra there. They're our largest sealed cabinet subwoofers. And typically in an open environment like this, we would normally go ported because they do breathe a little bit more. Yeah, they're a little bit larger, and you feel the energy of the drivers a little bit differently, and they move more air. So the fact that we're able to do what we did in here with 2 sealed subs is pretty awesome. But what you were getting there, like when you go to the movies, when you go to a concert, you feel the bass. And you're in a great space because you've got some really high-end theaters in Colorado. You can go experience AMC Dolby Cinema and the Cinemark XD and the Regal RPX that are now incorporating better bass experience. And that's what fills in that bottom end. And if you go to the movie, you go to the concert, you remember the bass because it's kind of, sometimes it could be, punching you in the chest, and sometimes it's just a really nice blend. And so that's the bed level. And then up above you on the sides, directly above you on these really high-end 1x6 panels, that is the prime elevation. That is our height effect speaker, or what's called an object-based surround speaker. And that's new to home audio over the last 5 to 10 years, really. And what it does is it's to create that completely immersive bubble. And it brings in sounds that are designed by the audio, the sound designer, the musician, whoever's doing it, to incorporate the object-based audio, so you hear sound not only coming from around you on the lower level, but also being placed in points up above you. And so we're going to do a demo to close this off in a little bit that's really going to showcase the benefit of having a real speaker up above you. And so when you go to a movie theater, where are the speakers? They're typically up high on a wall. Are they shooting straight out, or are they aimed a particular direction? They're aimed at the listening position, right? It's the same way these are designed, so that they come down into the listening position to give you that experience that blends from the front stage to the back.
And again, to bring it to 30,000-foot level, we talked about the front speakers creating a specific kind of soundstage image. The rear speakers, or the surround speakers, they're creating that sense of ambience and place. So these are telling you what's going on in action. The surround speakers are making you feel like you're a part of it, like you're actually there with it. But Larry talked about with the height effect speakers, it stops being all on the same horizontal plane and now creates a three-dimensional image. And that's pretty, and you know, we did this with music in the first demo. In the last demo we're going to do, it's going to be a movie, and it's going to, even in a massive room like this, it's going to create that believable three-dimensional image. I want to bring it back to 30,000 feet to talk about when you are enjoying a movie or streaming TV, you're looking at a fantastic TV, but where is the real emotional impact coming from? Where is what makes you feel what's going on emotionally coming from? Is it coming from the picture, or is it coming from the sound? I'm going to make the case that 3/4 of the emotional impact of any home theater experience, whether it's movies, music, gaming, streaming TV, 3/4 of the emotional impact comes from the sound. And getting that right, that's what really draws you into it and makes you feel it and makes you believe it and makes you feel emotion from it. The secret of a great demo is, Larry and I were kicking this around before this event. The secret of a great demo, if you're going to do a great demo, is make that emotional connection. That's what music or sound can do. Now, Larry talked about the subwoofer. The subwoofer is a purpose-built speaker designed to only deliver bass. And one thing about subwoofers, they are non-directional, meaning you should not, if it's a good subwoofer, if it's only delivering bass, which we like to say ours are, if it's only delivering bass, then you're not really going to hear where the sound's coming from. So one or two, I'll come to you in 2 seconds. 1 or 2 can create all the bass that you need for 9 speakers, 7 speakers, 5 speakers, whatever you have. Were you going to ask questions?
Well, I noticed you pulled this one out.
That's Larry's artistry. Larry is really, really good at making this is a difficult room, I'm going to say, and, because it has these high ceilings, it's wide open, and so we wanted to create bass that was, that first demo, those moments when he's going boom like that, it needs to be a little bit overwhelming. And so Larry was able to accomplish that by adjusting the settings of the subwoofers. Our subwoofers you can adjust them to the molecular level almost, but also where you put them in the room makes a big difference. I will say, if you say to yourself, well, I would never do that, I would never pull it out from the wall, I get that. By the way, we know that you have lives. So in fact, I was talking with someone about this, like where's the best place to put it? Well, first you got to work within the constraints of what your lifestyle supports and what, again, the other voting members in the household want. But within that, there may be some latitude. The best thing to do, and we didn't go into this too much last night, the best thing to do is if you have a budget for a subwoofer, cut it in half. I'm not saying spend more money. Now, I do have one son still in college, so if you want to spend more money, it's all good with me. But you don't really need to. You can cut your budget in half for subwoofers and just get 2. Because 2 subwoofers, just no matter where you put them, 2 subwoofers are going to reduce weird room nodes. Like bass waves cancel each other out or they reinforce each other. When they cancel each other out, where's the bass? It all went away in this part of the room. And you walk over to this part of the room, oh my God, I'm getting bombarded with way too much bass. So how do you fix that? Well, 80% of that gets removed when you have 2 subwoofers because all that cancellation and standing waves, which is the reinforcement, too much bass, that 80% of that goes away. That's the reason to do it, and you don't have to obsess as much about where you put it when you have two.
And I don't know if you haven't looked up here, aesthetically, most of you would probably put both subs just on the sides of the speakers, and depending on your room, it might work great. In here, because we are taking on 8,000 square feet of showroom.
12,000. I just found out.
So 12. I moved this subwoofer up about 5 feet, and that added about 20 more feet of range for you all that are in the backspace back there. And when the next demos come up, you'll get some of that too. So placement is key. And the way this was all done was just by ear. So I use Odyssey, and if you guys want to geek out, we'll do that later. We use Odyssey simply for measurements, and then I change everything. And that's part of the fun of home theater.
So let me. Sorry. Well, I was going to do one thing, and then we're going to, because I don't think we did our little how this event even works.
Oh yeah.
So we should probably do that, because we're giving prizes away tonight, right? You guys filled out entry blanks, so Larry will say what the prizes are. We have some smaller prizes, and then we have 3 kind of grand prizes, and the grand prize is a full
5.2.2 home theater with receiver.
Meaning full surround sound, height effects, everything. So that's a really great, fun prize. Let's make a deal with each other. This is what we always say. If we're going to do the drawing at about 7:50 tonight, 10 minutes of 8. If we call your name and you're not here, you don't win. Do we agree?
That happened last night.
It really happened last night. So do we agree? Okay. All right. Larry, you want to say what the prizes are? Yeah.
I'll get your question right after this. So we've got a couple small prizes like accessories, cables, and stuff. We're going to start off. If you happen to win one of those, you will be able to go back into the drawing for the larger prize, because we don't want anybody to feel like they don't get that chance.
We don't want you to be sad because you won a prize.
Yes.
Something seems off about that.
Then we have also got a pair of our Prime Wireless Pro powered bookshelf speakers, which retail for $900. They're my favorite product that our entire company makes. You're going to get to hear that tonight with Ken over in 2-channel system. The other prize in that ballpark we've got is a 3000 micro subwoofer, which is our smallest, most compact subwoofer. And so somebody's going to win one of those tonight too. Those will be the 2 lead-in prizes to the grand prize. And the grand prize is a full 5.2.2 Dolby Atmos home theater, which I'll essentially be playing. Sorry, 5.1.2. I got to make sure I say that.
So 5 speakers plus 2 height effects and 1 subwoofer.
One subwoofer. I'll be playing essentially that system in the small theater tonight when we're done here. We'll explain that too. And included in that is a Denon, I want to say 1800 receiver. So I thought I saw that right there, along with all the cabling and stuff to hook it up.
All
So
right.
it's about a $3,000 system somebody's going to win tonight.
And the last thing is, how do we orient this event? This is the part where we're all together. In about probably 15, 20 minutes in that neighborhood, my part of this, where I'm making our formal presentation with Nick and Larry, will end, and then we'll go off into what we call experience zones. One of them is a more scaled down home theater, quote unquote, maybe a bit more affordable, but also maybe some smaller speakers. And Larry's going to be demoing that.
Yeah. And that'll be in the very back middle of the store.
And then I've actually, several people asked me about wireless. Our Prime Wireless Pro ecosystem, which is 2 different products, powered speakers that are fully wireless, high res over Wi-Fi, AirPlay 2, so you don't need to do anything to set it up other than just your iPhone or your Android phone, and HDMI, so they're soundbar killers. Ken will be demoing that in a different experience zone, and I believe you have the Soundbase 2, which turns any speakers into a smart wireless zone. So that's a fun demo, and several of you expressed some curiosity about wireless. Ken will be showing you the future of wireless. And then we'll all regroup back to do the prize drawing. Now, sir, you had a question?
The blending was amazing with the subs and the mains. Are they set to small and 80 hertz, can you say? Or?
So I'll tell you the way I set up the system. If you've got a receiver, speakers, and a subwoofer, every speaker's small. That's just how I do it. If you set the system to large, the bass is kind of sucked away from the subwoofer, and it's going to the front stage or whatever speakers are set to large. So unless you're using separate amplifiers, preamps, and stuff, everything should be set to small, and then you adjust the crossovers accordingly. So I just have the front stage all crossed at 60. The height effects, I believe I put at 90. At home, I actually have them lower because they can handle that, but I'm not playing this loud at home. And then behind you, the towers in the back, I've got them crossed at 80 as well.
Well, and there's a really important point in that question, which I really want to address, which is every one of these home theater receivers, they have this auto room equalizing thing they do. One of them is Odyssey, then there's another one called Dirac, there's proprietary ones from Onkyo and Yamaha. They all do similar things. Here's the point to your question. You're gonna use this microphone, and the system is gonna automatically say, oh, those are small speakers, those are large speakers. Don't argue with what it said. That's the key. If you say, well, it thinks my speakers are small, but they're not small, that makes me mad, they're large. If you tell it they're large, it still assumes they're small, and so it will do things that you wouldn't want it to do. So that's a really important, if you're gonna do this, then you kind of don't want to use the room EQ if you want to decide for yourself. The way Larry does it is the right way, which is let the auto room EQ tell you what it is. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, we want to move into the next demo because I want to transition a little bit away from the classic home theater-y kind of demo for a minute and talk about movies, music, and where they all intersect. And one of the things I want you to think about is, I get asked this question all the time. Oh, what speakers are really good for movies? What speakers are really good for music? And I was saying last night, back in the day, we used to literally ask people, oh, Mr. or Ms. Customer, what kind of music do you listen to? Oh, you like rock music? Oh, then this is the speaker for you, these power thrusters. Oh, you like classical music? Oh, you need these little refined ones that are accurate. That to me is a really archaic way of looking at things. A great system and great speakers should be able to do the fun, the dynamics, and the impact that you need for movies, and they should also have the refinement and accuracy and musicality, I don't even know if that's a word.
It is now.
Well, we'll make it a word. For enjoying the music of your choice. It should be able to do all that. You should be able to have your cake and eat it too. So to that end, Larry's going to do a kind of a home theater demo, but it's very music oriented. It's refined and it's delicate. And this is a good time again to come closer. We're all friends now, right? We'll come closer to get the best demo.
Don't trip on the rug like I keep doing. And I say that and trip as I'm saying. So this demo is very different from any other demo we do. This is a sequence from the movie The Greatest Showman. And all that's happening on screen is just a single female singer with an orchestral accompaniment. And this is almost 100% dedicated to the detail of the center channel. You're going to hear that it's going to start off kind of quiet and calm. You're going to hear her go from this kind of small opening of the song. You'll hear her take a breath between notes and then just start belting out these tones. And feel free to sing along because most of you know this track. And then you'll have the orchestral accompaniment coming from around you and then a little bit of low end coming from the subs. But it's really about showing the detail, the emotion that can come from the scene, along with what an amazing center channel can do for you. So I'm going to shut up and we will get things going.
Miss Jenny Lynn.
Now we owe you another giveaway, so we are going to do our PB1000 Pro, and I'm going to do like I said I was going to. Cool, thanks. And we're going to take a stroll over here to look at this history wall that shows some of the iconic moments in ListenUp history, because frankly, it's been impressive how long they've been along for, and they are one of the most iconic stores in the country. But first, the winner of our PB1000 Pro subwoofer is LaRonda Parks. LaRonda Parks, congratulations. You got yourself a sweet ported sub coming your way. So this really documents the history of ListenUp. And while we listen to this emotionally draining track here, we're just going to walk through and give you guys a sense for the history that is ListenUp. And if you can't read all this, then, well, you know, you can pause it later and come back to it. But you can see they really started with a couple of friends who, you know, started going to a lot of different audio events and just built up sort of a passion to it. And then they started this store around 1972. Ooh, I think I messed up the timeline. Oh, there we go. Yep. Yep. So they actually did pro sound for a while for the likes of Little Feat, Muddy Waters, John Prine, and that's really where they got their start. They actually did a CD collection from Ebbets Field, starting out of Chicago. This is sort of an iconic image here as well from Sony that shows the birth of the CD. And then as you can see, they progressed from just doing hi-fi to doing full-on home automation, HVAC, security. We've even worked on Colorado Buffaloes. That's right, where Prime Time is currently coaching. They did the sound for the stadium there around 1996. And here we are at the store. They founded this Colorado Springs in 1989, and Walt Stinson, the original founder, was inducted into the Consumer Electronics Hall of Fame in 2009, and now his son is involved with running the company. And again, it's just one of the most iconic stores. And last year they actually turned 50 years old, so pretty cool to be a part of this. I don't know if any of you guys watch YouTube, but I'm going to sneak up on this guy right here, because you guys might know this guy from YouTube and from Instagram. So I'm just going to kind of sneak up and say hi to Giles McCoy. This is the home theater mechanic.
All right, you guys are missing out on a great demo. SVS always does it up the right way, and they're delivering again tonight, playing one of my favorite demo songs. You might be able to hear it going on right now. I love it.
He's actually got tears coming down his eyes right now. We got to get him a tissue. We got to get Giles a tissue. Excuse me, sorry.
We always want to have tissues ready for that point.
It's emotional.
You haven't seen that movie. It's a really powerful scene too. So I'm anti-spoiler, so I won't say anything.
But the reason we use that demo is it's not the classic home theater demo. I mean, if you notice, no one died in that demo. There were no bombs. No bombs going on.
No superheroes?
No superheroes. No, she wasn't wearing tights. But sometimes multi-channel gets a bad rap for not being able to deliver a satisfying musical experience. I would totally disagree with that. But it does kind of tie into what you and I want to talk about. This is Nick. By the way, I don't think I really formally introduced Larry and Nick. They're kind of iconic SVS characters at this point. But so our VP of Marketing, Nick Brown, our Director of World this could cost me. Director of
I'm the national training manager, so I geek out with all the stores and stuff.
And sorry, my bad, Larry. And then somewhere back there is our Senior Director of U.S. Sales, Ken Cadis, who's going to do the Prime Wireless Pro demo. So what I was going to say is we want to kind of talk about the word audiophile. And by the way, I just talked before this started with a bunch of classic audiophiles, okay? Which I guess you could kind of call me one. I mean, I started with the audiobook before I even went to college, and that was quite a long time ago. So don't be offended if we pigeonhole you. But I do want everyone to think of because we want to blow up a little bit the conventional definition of the audiophile. Before we do that, let's come up with a conventional definition of audiophile. And sorry to the SVS community, we just did this last night, but we think it's really important to kind of do this. SVS, by the way, is a brand that's definitely accepted and cherished by the audiophile community. So, we love the audiophile community. We won 6 years running the ISO award, which is 60 audiophile magazines around the world voting, which is it 7 years? My bad. 7 years in a row. So that's 60 audiophile magazines around the world voting.
Half a dozen stereophile recommended components.
We get Class A stereophile recommended component. Our stuff is like 1/6 the price of the other stuff that it's next to. So listen, we like that. Yeah, and we're going to keep doing it. Totally. That's part of the mission. But let's first define, before we get there, let's define a little bit what is the traditional definition of an audiophile. So let me ask you guys. is when you think, close your eyes and think, the audiophile, is that person male or female? Oh, no hesitation there, right? Just some laughing. Okay. And is that male person, I did this last night, a spry youth like Nick, or an old tired relic like me?
Somebody out of the 70s.
There you go. Gentle way to put it. Gentle way. We'll take it.
Okay. All right.
I think you defined it well enough.
So this person, do they have a very minuscule budget? They start with very small amounts of money. They save for 6 months to get a $50 thing, or do they have a massive budget that would shock you and they brag about how much money they spent on their system? Which is it?
Oh.
Both? Okay, that's cool. I don't think it's the traditional audiophile definition, but I kind of agree with you. I think you typically think that it's this incredibly expensive, and they have some of that stuff here at ListenUp, incredibly expensive, over the top, no one in the house is allowed to even get within 2 feet of it, or you're punished, you're grounded in your room. And who's enjoying that system? Is that person surrounded by family and friends, joyously, everyone operating it, or is it one person sitting right in between the speakers? What do we call that? What do we call that place? You're in the sweet. You found the sweet spot. Yeah, my joke in the last one was this person's been here since like 8 this morning, waiting in the sweet spot. No one's gonna
X on the floor, like you're not moving me.
So, yeah. So that to me is the traditional. And by the way, Nick points this out. They're very restricted about what you're allowed to call great sound. Right? It has to be 2-channel. It has to be maybe acoustic. It has to be something from 50 years ago. Right? It's like very, very rigid definition.
No subs.
In some cases, yeah. I mean, I think that's changing a little bit, but you're right. I mean, that does happen. Like bass, no. Audiophiles don't like bass. So Nick, to his credit, he kind of I was articulating this to Nick, like, I don't want this. I don't want to have this situation where we're targeting this tiny slice of humanity and predicate this belief, which I think the audio industry really believes for the most part, that most people don't even care about great sound. And we don't believe that. I go to concerts all the time. Anyone who knows me knows that. In fact, this trip, which is an 8-day trip for me, it started with a concert on Sunday and it's ending with a concert on Sunday, which I organized very cleverly. So
It worked out well.
But I see people in the shows that I go to that are of every walk of life, of every age group, every demographic, and they're loving having an immersive sound experience, but no one's telling them that they can have an immersive sound experience in their living space. So Nick came up with this concept of,
we call it the modern audiophile, and it's not so much about what we just talked about. It's more about dispelling that notion. And somewhere along the way, I feel like the term audiophile sort of had a stigma attached to it, and it's a lot of what we just sort of went about defining.
I tried to paint a picture of that.
Yeah, and we decided to make it our mission because we go to these hi-fi shows where perhaps we're demoing a system similar to this, or even maybe a little bit smaller, and then there's some systems next door that maybe are north of $200,000, and we'll make the joke, you know what? If you love this, you can go next door and you can get a cable that's 20 times the price, and that system might not sound as good, but we like to kind of show that you can.
Nick literally says this system costs less than the cable in the system next door.
And you know what? Like that is not to denigrate the hobby. If you are willing and you have the means to be able to invest that much in your system, what we want to dispel is the fact that that's all there is. That is what you have to do in order to be an audiophile. So is there anyone here who plays video games? By the traditional definition, I would say an audiophile who adheres to that traditional definition would put their nose up and say, well, there's no way that you would qualify as an audiophile. We think that's bunk. We think that's absolutely untrue. My approach to it is, if you have a desire, if you aspire to have better sound in your home theater, whether it's a 2-channel system, whatever it is, that qualifies you as an audiophile. And I have friends who come over. They have simple sound bars that they bought at Walmart or something like that. They'll come over and hear my dual subs and my prime elevations, and they're like, gosh, this is just like so out of reach. Like, you must be an electrician to be able to hook all this up. And I'm like, you know what? This spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get it all wired up. It's part of the fun. It's part of the hobby. And that's the part of the stigma that I hate the most, is that people look at this as some sort of like elitist pursuit. That's really not the case at all. It's fun. It's something that you can spend hours tweaking if you're into that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want to get incrementally better sound? Hey, that's a fun hobby. It's better, than substance abuse. So it's like, it's a lot better.
Substance abuse. Are you saying substance abuse is a hobby?
For some people it is. It's an unhealthy addiction, but like hi-fi, I would say, is not an unhealthy addiction. It can be an expensive one, but it's also something where you can invest your time, you can invest your energy. There's so many resources out there. Giles McCoy from YouTube is one of the people who's here. There's just a ton of people who are here to help you along the way. And there was a while where like AVS Forum and some of these things were like the Wild West, where like if you showed up and you had a question, everyone would shoot you down. There's no way you can buy that. There's no way, like, you got to have this brand or you got to have these settings this way. It's become much more embraced. And that's kind of what we're trying to spearhead with events like this, but even going to those hi-fi shows, which can feel a little pretentious at time. We call ourselves the guilty pleasure there because of sort of the story that I also said.
We did have a guy last night saying, I came to this because I couldn't get into your room at Exponent, which is the biggest audiophile show in Chicago. And that was like, I was apologizing to him, but I was like kind of like happy about it.
But ultimately, it's just about bringing the fun back into it and allowing people to want to embrace the hobby and share that passion. Because if there's nothing else you walk away from here with, is like, go out and tell somebody that it isn't crazy expensive, that you don't need a degree in electronics or engineering to be able to hook a system like this up.
And whatever
the hobby's fun.
And whatever content you enjoy, whether it's gaming, streaming TV, movies, sport. I was saying last night, all NFL football, tomorrow night, we were going to do this tomorrow night, but you guys told us no, the Broncos are playing tomorrow night. No one will come.
Sore subjects.
No one will come if you do it tomorrow night. So that's why we quickly switched.
Any given Thursday.
So, but for those of you who aren't going to, it's not called Mile High anymore, right? Whatever that stadium is.
It'll always be Mile High.
Thank you. For those of you who aren't going to Mile High Stadium, and you're going to watch it on TV, you can watch it in full-on Dolby Digital Surround, as you can any network, NBA, hockey, the Major League Baseball playoffs. They're all in full-on Dolby Digital Surround sound. It sounds amazing. It definitely enhances the experience. So I guess my point is, and Nick's point is, your content, if there's something that ignites your passion in content, if it's a movie, if it's music, if it's home theater, if it's gaming, if it's sports, you can elevate the sound experience of it. And again, I'm not even talking about SVS. I'm just talking about elevating the sound experience and elevating your joy and doing it in that place, excuse me, where you can go and suspend your disbelief. And yeah, even if it's the Broncos playing tomorrow night, you can imagine that you're there at the stadium. That's the joy of the modern audiophile.
I still don't want anyone touching my settings, though.
I don't get that.
Don't touch my settings. Like, you can turn the volume knob, but like, don't mess with my settings.
Everyone in my household is my partner in crime in that system. So my wife actually will come to me and say, "We haven't upgraded this in quite a long time. Isn't it time?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." All right. So look, we kind of went over because we're really enjoying being with you guys. Larry's going to do a final demo to kind of pull all this together. You can set it up. And then we'll break up. I'm going to hang here, so if anybody has any questions, comments, feedback, I'm here for that. And then I would encourage you to go to the two different experience zones that are over there, Scaled Down Home Theater and Prime Wireless Pro, the future of wireless audio. And then we'll regroup around 10 of 8 and do the drawing for all the prizes. Thanks, you guys. So Larry, it's yours.
All right, let me rewind this.
Oh. You get that in the small room. You get the small room. You might have heard the light fixture shaking a little bit on that first demo. We basically almost had the walls coming down when we did Turtles in here. So.
Where I'm going to take you all now, it's the movie Spider-Man Far From Home. And I think this is still now, 5-6 years later, the best example of Dolby Atmos I've ever heard. And so this sequence is Spider-Man fighting the bad guy. So if you haven't seen the spoiler, Mysterio's a bad guy. He uses audio and video to manipulate what you see and hear, and you're going to hear his voice and sound.
That's just like what you do, Larry.
Yes, so all over the room. And because even with the way these elevation speakers are set up facing different directions, you're still going to get that effect in the room. So I'm just going to get this thing going. It starts off kind of quiet, and then it's really in your face. And I'm going to let it go a little bit longer than I typically do, because I think you guys are going to enjoy the demo. So here we go.
What? No.
Wow, Peter. Wow. I thought it was close. You always had to die, but not you.
Stop hiding back!
I tried to help you walk away. Now you're making me do this. You told me you were just a kid. You told me. Run after that girl.
Peter, what's going on? I know this isn't real.
Do you know?
That's it.
I don't think you know what's going on here. I mean, look at your stuff. You are just a scared little kid in a sweatsuit. I created Mysterio to give the world someone to believe in. I control the truth. Mysterio is the truth. If you were good enough, maybe Tony would still be alive. Deep down, you know I was. You made your choice. And all you had to do was step aside. And now, you.
And then spoilers happen. So, yes. How cool is that hearing everything? Even you, all of you that are really far ahead of that mid stage, it's still filled in, 30-foot tall ceilings and all the way to the back of the store. So that's what we like to put across with these systems and show you how much fun it can be. And we're going to continue the fun. We're going to let you all kind of decide which way you'd like to go. I'm going to go to the very back middle of the store and do some more music and movie demos on a smaller home theater system. And then Ken back in the corner is going to do our 2-channel experiences. And we'll do that until about 10 till 8. And then come back here where we're going to do giveaways. And we've got some really cool stuff for you guys tonight. So if you want to hang out here, Gary's going to hang over here and ask questions or answer questions. He might ask me some questions too. And we're just going to have fun. So I'm going to grab my stuff and head back in there and we'll keep this party going.
Thanks for being a great audience, you guys. It's really fun.
Hey, what's up? Hey, I get to flip the camera on me now. We are going to go back and do our final giveaway of the evening. And this is for, well, I guess I should say before we do our final giveaway of the evening, we are going to have our next live broadcast at an event on November 2nd in Augusta, Georgia, at a store called Brand Smart. They're actually just opening the store now. It's their soft opening. So we're going to be bringing the noise to Brand Smart in Augusta, Georgia on November 2nd. That will be a normal time happy hour around 6 to 7 or so. So you'll find details about that on our events page or on Eventbrite. So check us out there live if you're in Georgia or you want to make the drive there. We may do a happy hour from our homes there before we get to Georgia, but we'll announce that here in the coming weeks. So final giveaway of the evening is an SP 2000 Pro subwoofer with the SoundPath subwoofer cable. And the winner of that is one Mr. Dennis Young Jr. Congratulations, Dennis. Got a sweet sub coming your way. We'll get your information and get that shipped out. So I want to give a special thank you to anyone who's tuning in who was at the Nebraska Furniture Mart Omaha event last night. Thank you so much. It was an absolute blast. Apparently there were people at this event too, also watching the live stream, trying to double dip on those giveaways. But hey, I can't hate on that. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Always, we love the support and happy listening as always. We'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks.